On the Capitol Watch, a done deal. The state Senate and House of Representatives passed and the governor signed a major package of tax relief for Idahoans and an infusion of hundreds of millions of dollars in funding for public schools. The special legislative session to decide what to do with Idaho's projected record $2 billion budget surplus ended up lasting a little over 10 hours from start to the governor's signing of the bill. Here's how it breaks down. Lawmakers approved $500 million in immediate one-time tax rebates that will be sent to Idahoans, $150 million in ongoing tax cuts by implementing a lower flat income tax rate of 5.8%, and $410 million for public education. How the education funding will be spent has yet to be decided. News Channel 7's Abby Davis covered the special session today. So, Abby, what did lawmakers have to say about House Bill 1 going through and being signed into law?
Well, Doug, while most Idaho lawmakers were in support of this bill, both Democrats and Republicans had some concerns. Some are worried about how the 2023 legislature will allocate the $410 million set aside for public education, and others are actually concerned about the constitutionality of the bill.
It puts some of their money back in their pockets.
That's money coming from tax rebates. Idaho lawmakers passed House Bill 1 on Thursday, which means Idahoans will receive payments equivalent to 10% of their state income tax amount reported on 2020 returns, or $300 for individuals and $600 for families, whichever is more.
Idahoans sent more money into their state legislature than we spent, and so it's just proper and fitting that we send that back to the families.
This bill includes not only tax rebates, but also implements a flat income tax of 5.8% and sets aside $410 million for public education. Both Speaker of the House Scott Bedke and House Minority Leader Alana Rubel says the government is trying to help out families struggling to keep up with inflation.
That may be in the form of fuel costs, grocery costs, maybe it's property tax, maybe it's something else. This is real cash, real money that will be in every checking account by the end of September that they can address those inflationary concerns.
We're finally getting some amount of money to all the families of Idaho in an amount that might actually make a perceptible difference in their lives.
As far as the education funding goes, Bedke says it's a topic that transcends parties.
We want our kids to leave Idaho schools well prepared to go and pursue any career and not be at a disadvantage at the next level.
But Democrats have some concerns. This bill essentially just puts that $410 million into a bucket. It's up to the 2023 legislature to decide what that money goes toward. Rubel says she's worried if and how that money will be allocated.
It is possible that when this legislature comes back next session, that this whole thing turns into a shell game, that Republican legislators could come in and they could simply deduct the $400 million that we allocated today out of the general fund dollars that would otherwise have gone into the education budget during session.
There was some debate in the House about the constitutionality of the bill. The Idaho Constitution states you can only talk about one topic per piece of legislation. But since this bill combines tax relief and education, some lawmakers argue those are two separate things. Bedke says that's an unfounded concern since the entirety of the bill is inflation-related. The Idaho Attorney General Office also released an opinion on the matter, saying the legislature is in the clear.
Those motions were soundly defeated, as they should have been.
Something that was taken out of the bill before today was a 3% inflation ladder for the education investment. So that means the amount would have increased annually. Now, some lawmakers brought up how they are concerned now that it's more of a short-term fix to address some of these education issues instead of a long-term one. Doug?
All right, yeah, there's a lot of layers to this too, of course, and we'll keep looking into it and seeing what happens in the 2023 legislature. Yes. With that funding. So, okay, lots of stuff to look for. Thank you, Abby, for breaking it all down for us. And after signing the bill earlier tonight, Governor Brad Little released a statement that reads in part, "The successful extraordinary session demonstrates government working for the people. I am proud of my legislative partners for confronting the substantial impacts of inflation head on by putting our record budget surplus back in the pockets of Idahoans while responsibly funding education at historic levels to ensure we are meeting our constitutional and moral obligation to Idaho students and families both in the short term and the long term. Returning the people's money is the right thing to do, and the education investments support families, help us keep up with growth, enhance our quality of life, and prepare a workforce to meet the changing needs of employers."